ever had a situation where your child-free status was confirmed, where almost like if you could be any tighter with your child-free decision, you'd be welded to it? Well, this Am I the Asshole post definitely reinforced my child freedom. So let's go here. This is Am I the Asshole for ruining my mom's engagement after she abandoned me when I was 11? I, 17 male, have had a strained relationship with my mom after an incident that happened about 6 years ago. My mom was super strict and a helicopter parent, so we fought a lot over my grades and trouble I got into at school. She had essentially abandoned me, signing over custody to my dad after I told her something along the lines of, "I hate you and I wish I lived with Dad." Typical things an angsty preteen says to their parent. But that fight seemed to have broke her, and she cried before dropping me off at my dad's apartment. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal and I would just see her the next day after she proved her point, but she left me there. So after that, things got essentially worse for me. My grades dropped and I kept getting in trouble at school, almost to the point where I was kicked out. My dad never had job security, so money was tight. His girlfriend also wasn't fond of me, saying I was dumped on them. I wanted to go back and live with my mom. I thought to apologize, but my mom had essentially moved on with her life. She went back to college to get her degree and was always studying, and later on was focused on her new work. On weekends, I would get to see her. Things were tense between us. She tried hard to be the fun parent, eating takeout and leaving me to do what I wanted, but it was so unlike her, and we became more estranged. 3 years ago, she started dating Paul, almost 40 male, a widower with 2 daughters who were pre-tween and tween. She started treating his daughters like they were her own, and they started calling her mommy, which irritated me. Eventually, they moved into my mom's house and changed my childhood bedroom into one of the daughters' room. I was livid when I found out, saying some mean things about the girls, and refused to go back there for my mom's weekends, and she was confused on why I was acting this way. So because of the fight, she thought I wouldn't be attending the engagement party when she announced her and Paul would be getting married. Besides, she didn't want me there to ruin their perfect picture of her new family. So I made it a point to go to the party and called her out on her behavior. I wanted to confront her and tell her that she wouldn't have to bother with me after I went off to college, but I may have taken it a tad too far. Everyone kept talking about how Paul's daughters were like her children and how it would be when she had more kids, and it snapped something in me. I called her a horrible parent and told her that she was trying to replace me with the little brats, and after she abandoned me, along with some other insults I don't really remember. Paul kicked me and my dad out, saying I was an asshole for making his fiancée and girls cry and ruining the engagement party. He said I won't be allowed to the wedding unless I called and apologized. I may have taken things a bit too far, but my dad agrees she had it coming after she abandoned a young child at an age where I needed my mother. So, am I the asshole and should I apologize? I vigorously dissent this ruling of him not being the asshole. So they decide. So I thought that that this person was going to delete their the profile or whatever, or the post. So I decided to also snap some screenshots. Personally, you are the asshole. Okay. 1, you said I hate you and I want to live with my dad. So when she did let you live with your dad, you said, wait, come back. And then when you didn't want to deal with your mother, and then she moved on with her life because she didn't want you in it, because you didn't want her in your life, then suddenly she's the bad guy because she gave you what you wanted. Did you expect her to like crawl over broken glass to like get back in your good graces or something? Because, yeah, that wasn't happening. So, okay, Aggressive Maze 919 says, I'm sorry, but people like you are one of the reasons why child-free people exist. I don't know why some people are babying you in the comments. You sound so vindictive and self-centered. You keep saying your mom abandoned you when you were the one who decided to stop living with her just because you didn't want to do your homework and just wanted to be irresponsible like your father enabled you to be. Then you got mad when she remarried and refused to see her again on the weekends just to go to her engagement party and insult her. Where exactly did she abandon you? It just sounds like you were a brat who was never happy with any of her efforts and just wanted her to be miserable. But that fight seemed to have broke her and she cried before dropping me off at my dad's apartment. That says a lot. You're the asshole. Sray Denk says, reading this, I don't think that OP is a reliable narrator. Which makes sense because they are a team. I hate to say that actions have consequences because the OP is a kid, but at the same time, Mom had tried. The OP wanted to change custody, and Mom wasn't. What Mom was doing wasn't working, so her switching custody is valid. The OP stopped going without communication. Therapy should have happened a long time ago, but that requires OP participating. It's hard to know if they would have. Without knowing what Mom did to help with the poor behaviors before swapping custody, it's hard to judge Mom. 47667 says, let's not forget, it all reportedly started when OP said, presumably out of anger, that he hates her and wants to live with his dad. He called her a helicopter mom, but I think she was trying to help him, and he was difficult to deal with and lots of anger issues. After moving out, he started getting into trouble, and his grades dropped without his mother's constant attention. Some of that anger may be because of divorce, but some may be due to his character, and he needs some self-reflection and therapy. Another one says here, the only person who I feel is making bad decisions decisively is OP. Because it's his story, and by his own admission, he never apologized, and her helicopter parenting was just being a good parent. But he's a teenager. I don't have a solid grasp on what Mom did. Her feelings were hurt by OP's admission, and she made several attempts to repair the relationship. OP sounds like he just didn't listen or respect anyone's authority, and I don't really know what else she was supposed to do when he made it clear he didn't want to be around her. Ghost Party 21 says, it's hilarious and telling how many people see living with his dad as abandonment. People think parenting and childcare are a mother's job, should be the 24/7 job in her life, but they see it as optional and part-time for dads. So for me, I'm like, okay, this one is really clear to me. OP is the asshole, even though he was judged not the asshole. I vigorously dissent. There was a lot more that could have been told in the story, but he's not a reliable narrator, and I feel that nothing his mother would have done was good enough. And also, notice how he only bashes the women in his life. He bashes his mom, he bashes his dad's girlfriend, and then he called the two stepdaughters two little brats. Where was his dad when he was going through all of this? His dad had duck all to do with him, even though they had 50-50 custody, but he doesn't blame the dad at all. This fucker's going to be an incel misogynist, if he is not already. And somebody said that in the comments, and he's already there. So anyway, this one, I'm telling you, this little shitbag went to Reddit as if they weren't going to tear him a new ass. And some of the people did give him a pass due to his age. But even at 17, he called the little girls little brats and yelled at his mom and insulted her still. He ain't learned shit. Talk to you soon.